I didn't even know I was in a scam. Not until the day she changed the Wi-Fi password and locked me out of the apartment. 14 months together. I paid for her family's food, her surgery, her business. I loved her, but she only loved what I gave her. I'm standing in this wet market in Manila, sweat dripping down my back, watching Annabelle haggle with some vendor over tomatoes. She's got my hand in hers, squeezing it every time she laughs. The vendor's speaking rapid Tagalog, and she's firing back just as fast. Then she turns to me with that smile. That goddamn smile. "This is my husband," she tells the vendor in English, loud enough for everyone to hear. "From America." The vendor looks at me, nods, gives us a better price. Annabelle squeezes my hand again. "See, we're family now. Family." Christ, I'd been divorced for 6 months, living in a studio apartment in Akron, eating cereal for dinner most nights. My ex-wife took the house, the dog, even the good coffee maker. 20 years of marriage, gone. And here's this beautiful 29-year-old woman calling me family in front of strangers. "You make me feel important," I tell her as we walk away from the vendor. "Because you are important," she says, bumping her shoulder against mine. "Important to me." I believed every word. Standing there with plastic bags full of vegetables, listening to the chaos of the market around us, I felt like I belonged somewhere again. She'd pick up a mango, hold it to her nose, then offer it to me to smell. "Good one," she'd say, and I'd nod like I knew the first thing about mangoes. "My family wants to meet you properly," she tells me while we're walking back to the jeepney. "Maybe next month." "I'd like that. They'll love you. My mama especially. She says American men know how to treat women right." I don't tell her about my ex-wife, how she used to roll her eyes when I'd come home from driving truck, covered in road dust and diesel fumes, how she'd complain that I never wanted to talk after 16 hours behind the wheel. Some nights I wonder if I just wasn't built for marriage. But standing here with Annabelle, watching her count pesos and argue with drivers, I think maybe I just needed the right woman. "Leonard," she says, and the way she says my name makes my chest tight. "You're quiet." "Just happy," I tell her. She stops walking, right there in the middle of the street, and kisses me. Not a peck. A real kiss. People stare, but she doesn't care. When she pulls back, her eyes are soft. "I'm happy too," she whispers. That night, lying in bed in her small apartment, she traces patterns on my chest with her finger. The air conditioner hums in the corner, drowning out the noise from the street below. She's already asleep, her breathing slow and steady against my shoulder. This is what I was missing, I think. Not the sex, though that's good too. It's this. Someone who wants to be next to me. Someone who doesn't flinch when I reach for her hand. Someone who introduces me as her husband before I've even asked. I close my eyes and listen to her breathe. For the first time in months, maybe years, I don't feel alone. 6 months earlier, I'm sitting in that studio apartment, scrolling through Facebook at 2 in the morning. Couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about the divorce papers I'd signed that afternoon. 20 years. Done. Just like that. I'd joined some senior dating group, mostly to see if there was life after 55. Posted once, maybe twice. Didn't expect much. Then this message pops up from Annabelle. "Good men deserve peace." That's it. 4 words. But something about it hit me right in the chest. I clicked on her profile. Beautiful girl, but not magazine beautiful. Real beautiful. Pictures of her at church, with her family, selling something at what looked like a small market stall. I messaged back, "Thank you. That's kind of you to say. My friend shared your post. You sound like you've been hurt. Divorced yesterday, actually. I'm sorry. Marriage should be forever. Some people don't understand that anymore." We talked for weeks. Every night after my shift, I'd come home to messages from her. She'd tell me about her day, ask about mine. Really ask, not just polite conversation. When I told her about my ex-wife, how she said I was too simple, too boring, Annabelle got angry. Simple is good. Simple is honest. I don't want complicated men anymore. Anymore? I was hurt too. Bad relationship. He lied to me, cheated, made me feel like I wasn't enough. The way she wrote it, I could feel the pain. This wasn't some woman playing games. This was someone who understood what it felt like to be thrown away. "Maybe we're both too old to play games," I wrote. "I would take care of you," she messaged back immediately. "Like a king, you deserve that." like a king. Jesus, when's the last time someone said I deserved anything good? 3 weeks later, I'm at the travel agent, booking a one-way ticket to Manila. My sister Helen calls me, screaming through the phone. Leonard, you don't know this woman. You've never even met her. I know enough. She's probably after your money. What money, Helen? I drive truck. I live in a studio apartment. Your pension. Your savings. The money from the house. I hang up on her. But her words stay with me. That night, I message Annabelle. My sister thinks you're after my money. What money? She writes back. Exactly what I said to Helen. You work hard. You're not rich, right? Not even close. Good. I don't want rich man. Rich men think they can buy everything. I want good man. She sends me a picture of herself holding a handwritten sign, For Leonard, you are good man. I stare at that picture for an hour. Someone who barely knows me, taking the time to write out a sign, just to make me feel better. When's the last time anyone did something like that for me? I sell my truck the next week. Break my lease. Pack 2 suitcases and leave everything else behind. Helen stops speaking to me. My ex-wife texts once, heard you're chasing some girl in Asia. Pathetic. Maybe it is pathetic. Maybe I'm a 55-year-old man having a midlife crisis, but sitting on that plane, 30,000 feet over the Pacific, I don't care. For the first time in years, I'm excited about something. Someone's waiting for me. Someone who thinks I'm worth taking care of. The plane hits turbulence somewhere over the ocean, and I grip the armrest. The guy next to me, some business traveler, glances over. Nervous flyer? First time to the Philippines. I tell him, business or pleasure. I think about Annabelle's messages, her picture with the sign, the way she writes about taking care of me. Love, I say. He nods like that makes perfect sense. Maybe it does. I've been living with Annabelle for 3 weeks when I notice the whiteboard in her bedroom. It's hanging right above her desk, covered in names and numbers. PayPal addresses. Little flags drawn next to some of them. American, Canadian, Australian. What's all this? I ask, pointing at it while she's getting dressed. She glances over, casual as anything. Work stuff. For my online business. What kind of business? I sell makeup, skincare products, live streaming. Those are my customers. Makes sense, I guess. She's always on her laptop in the evenings, talking to the camera in English, holding up little bottles and compacts. I've seen her do it. Professional, friendly. She's good at it. Lot of foreign customers, I say. They pay better than locals. She kisses my cheek before heading to the bathroom. Don't worry about it, baby. You're my only one. My only one. I like the sound of that, but I keep noticing things. The way she closes her laptop quick when I walk in the room. How her phone buzzes with messages all hours of the day, and she always takes it to the bathroom to answer. The names on that board, there must be 20 of them. Robert, USA, 200. Hans, Germany, 150. Michael, Australia, 300. Those don't sound like makeup sales to me. But when I ask about it, she just smiles and changes the subject. You worry too much, Leonard. I told you, it's business. I'm not worried. Just curious. Curious about what? The amounts. Those are pretty big numbers for lipstick. She stops brushing her hair and looks at me in the mirror. For just a second, something flickers across her face. Irritation? Fear? Then it's gone, replaced by that sweet smile. I sell bundles. Big orders. Some of these men, they buy gifts for their wives, daughters. Very expensive products. Oh, you don't trust me? The way she says it, wounded and small, makes me feel like an ass. Of course I trust you. Good. Because I trust you too. Completely. She turns around and wraps her arms around my neck. I've never had a man who cares about my work before. It's sweet. That night, she's extra affectionate. Cooks my favorite meal, sits on my lap while we watch TV, tells me she loves how protective I am. We make love twice. And she falls asleep in my arms, whispering about our future together. I lie there staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe. The whiteboard is right above us, those names and numbers glowing in the light from the street. Robert, Hans, Michael. Men with money, apparently. Men buying expensive gifts for their families. I want to believe her. Christ, I need to believe her. Because the alternative, that I'm just another name on that board, another PayPal address, is too much to think about. She stirs in her sleep, mumbles something I can't understand. Her phone buzzes on the nightstand. A message notification lights up the screen for a second before going dark. I close my eyes and pull her closer. She's warm, soft, real in my arms. Whatever those names mean, whatever that board is for, it doesn't matter. Not when she's here with me, sleeping peacefully against my chest. But I can't shake the feeling that I'm missing something important, something right in front of my face. Leonard, I need to tell you something. I'm making coffee in the kitchen when she says it. The way her voice wavers makes me turn around. She's sitting at the little table, hands folded in her lap, looking down. What's wrong? I went to the doctor yesterday, while you were at the mall. My stomach drops. And I have cysts on my ovaries. They need to remove them, or she starts crying. Real tears, not the fake kind. I've seen both, or they could become cancer. I'm next to her in 2 steps, pulling her into my arms. Hey, it's okay. We'll figure this out. The surgery costs 85,000 pesos. I don't have that kind of money. 85,000. That's about $1,500. Most of what I have left from selling my truck. When do you need it done? Next week. If I wait longer, the doctor says it could spread. I don't even hesitate. I'll pay for it. She looks up at me, eyes wide. Leonard, no. I can't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm offering. That's too much money. It's not too much for your health. For your life. She cries harder, burying her face against my chest. I've never had someone care about me like this. Well, you do now. The surgery is scheduled for Thursday. I wait in the hospital lobby for 6 hours, drinking bad coffee and reading the same magazine 3 times. When they wheel her out, she's groggy but smiling. Did everything go okay? I ask the nurse. Very successful. The doctor will speak with you shortly. Annabelle reaches for my hand. You stayed the whole time? Of course I stayed. I love you, she whispers. I love you too. It's the first time either of us has said it out loud. Sitting there in that sterile hospital room, her hand weak in mine, it feels like the most natural thing in the world. That night, I help her up the stairs to the apartment. She's moving slow, wincing with each step. I make her soup, bring her water, sit beside the bed while she sleeps. Around midnight, she wakes up and looks at me. You saved my life today. The doctors saved your life. No, you did. By caring enough to help me. She pulls me down for a kiss, gentle because she's still sore. I'm going to take such good care of you, Leonard, for the rest of our lives. The rest of our lives. Lying there next to her, listening to her peaceful breathing, I can almost see it, growing old together in this little apartment, maybe moving somewhere bigger eventually. Maybe she'll meet my sister, and Helen will see what I see in her. For the first time since my divorce, I'm not afraid of the future. I have someone to share it with, someone who needs me, who trusts me enough to let me save her life. I fall asleep holding her hand, feeling like the luckiest man in the world. I'm going out with my cousins tonight, Annabelle says, checking her makeup in the bedroom mirror. Just for a few hours. It's been a month since the surgery. She's recovered completely, back to her normal self. Better than normal, actually. More affectionate, more attentive. Like she's grateful. Where are you going? Just to dinner. Maybe some karaoke. Girl time, you know. I don't know, actually. I've never met these cousins. Every time I ask about meeting her family, she says they're shy around foreigners, need more time. What time will you be back? Maybe midnight? 1 o'clock at the latest. She kisses me goodbye, tells me not to wait up. I spend the evening watching Netflix, dozing off on the couch around 11. I wake up at 7 in the morning. She's not back. I call her phone. Straight to voicemail. Text her. No response. By noon, I'm pacing the apartment, imagining accidents, kidnappings, all the things that can happen to a young woman in a big city. She walks in at 3 in the afternoon, reeking of alcohol and cigarettes. Her dress is wrinkled, her makeup smeared. Where the hell have you been? Out. I told you. For 18 hours? We were having fun. Lost track of time. She brushes past me, heading for the bedroom. I need to shower. Annabelle, wait. She stops, turns around. There's something different in her eyes. Cold. What? I was worried sick. You could have called. My phone died. You couldn't borrow someone else's? Jesus, Leonard. What is this? An interrogation. It's concern. For someone I love. She laughs, but there's no humor in it. Love? Or control? What? You want to know where I am every minute, who I'm with, what I'm doing. That's not love. That's control. I feel like I've been slapped. I just wanted to know you were safe. Safe from what? Having friends? Having a life outside this apartment? That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? I don't know what to say. Maybe she's right. Maybe I am being controlling. My ex-wife used to say the same thing. That I was too possessive, too needy. I'm sorry, I say quietly. The anger leaves her face. She comes over, takes my hands in hers. I'm sorry too. I should have called. It's just, she looks down. My ex used to control everything I did. Where I went, who I saw. I guess I'm still sensitive about it. I didn't know. I don't like to talk about it. He hurt me, Leonard. Not just emotionally. Now I feel like a complete ass. Here I am, acting exactly like the man who abused her. No wonder she got defensive. I won't do that again. Ask where you're going, I mean. You're free to do whatever you want. Thank you. She kisses me softly. I love that you worry about me. Just trust me too, okay? Okay. That night, she's extra sweet. Cooks my favorite dinner, curls up next to me on the couch, tells me about her childhood, her dreams of opening her own business someday. She falls asleep with her head in my lap, and I stroke her hair, feeling guilty for doubting her. But something has changed. Some trust has been broken, on both sides. And I can't shake the feeling that those 18 hours were about more than just karaoke with her cousins. I push the thought away. She's here now. That's what matters. The fight starts over something stupid. I suggest we get a joint bank account, maybe put both our names on the lease when it renews. Normal couple stuff. Why? She asks, not looking up from her laptop. Because we're building a life together. It would be easier for paying bills, rent, that kind of thing. I pay the bills fine myself. With my money. The words come out harsher than I intended. She closes the laptop and looks at me. What did you say? I just meant. I give you money for rent, groceries, utilities. It might be simpler if we had a joint account. So you can control my spending? No. So we can be partners. She laughs. Partners? Leonard, you don't even live here officially. The lease is in my name. The utilities are in my name. You're basically my guest. Guest. The word hits like a physical blow. Guest? Yes, a welcome guest, but still a guest. I pay for everything. You contribute. There's a difference. What difference? She stands up, walks to the window. The difference is, I could ask you to leave tomorrow, and you'd have no legal right to stay. Would you? Ask me to leave? That depends. On what? On whether you keep treating me like a child who needs permission for everything. I stare at her back, at the rigid line of her shoulders. This isn't the woman who held my hand in the market, who called me family. This is someone else entirely. I've never treated you like a child. Really? Then why do you need to know where I go, who I see, how I spend money? Because I care about you. Or because you think paying my rent gives you the right to control my life. I don't have an answer for that. Maybe because part of me wonders if she's right. I'm going to change the Wi-Fi password, she says suddenly. Why? Because it's my internet, my apartment, my name on the contract. Annabelle, the new password is myhouse123. Don't forget it. She walks to the bedroom and closes the door. I hear the lock click. I sit on the couch, staring at my phone, realizing I can't even connect to the internet without her permission now. Everything in this apartment belongs to her. The lease, the utilities, the furniture, even the bed I sleep in. I own nothing here except the clothes in my suitcase. I'm a 55-year-old man who gave up everything to be with someone who just reminded me that I'm nobody here. A guest who pays rent but has no rights. No home, no power, no voice. I think about calling my sister, but I'd have to use data, and I'm trying to save money since I don't know how long what's left of my savings will last. I think about going to a hotel, but that would prove her point, that I don't really live here. So I sit on her couch, in her apartment, using her Wi-Fi password, and try to figure out when I became so small. The bedroom door stays locked all night. She's getting dressed again. Friday night, another girls' night with the mysterious cousins. Don't wait up, she says, checking her reflection one more time. Okay. I don't ask where she's going. Haven't asked in weeks, not since the fight about the lease. We're polite now, careful. Like roommates who split the bills, but don't really know each other. I'll probably be late again. Probably. She looks at me, maybe expecting me to say more. When I don't, she shrugs and leaves. I wait 10 minutes, then follow her. I don't plan it. 1 minute I'm sitting on the couch. The next I'm putting on my shoes and heading down the stairs. Maybe I need to see these cousins for myself. Maybe I need to understand why she's gone more nights than she's home now. She takes a jeepney toward Makati. I grab a taxi, tell the driver to follow but keep his distance. Feel like an idiot, like some character in a bad movie. But I can't stop myself. The jeepney stops at a mall. She gets off, walks through the parking lot toward a restaurant. I pay the taxi driver, follow on foot, staying far enough back that she won't see me. She's not alone. There's a guy waiting for her at a table on the restaurant's patio. Young, maybe early 30s. Filipino. Good-looking in a way I never was, even when I was his age. They hug when she reaches the table. Not a casual hug. A long one, intimate. I should leave. Walk away, catch a taxi home, pretend I never saw this. But I can't move. They order drinks, hold hands across the table. She laughs at something he says, the same laugh she used to save for me. He reaches over, tucks a strand of hair behind her ear. She leans into his touch. I watch them for an hour. Watch her be someone I don't recognize. Animated, flirtatious, happy in a way she hasn't been with me in months. Maybe ever. When they get up to leave, I finally find my legs. I walk in the opposite direction, find a taxi, give the driver my address, sit in the back seat, staring out the window, trying to process what I just saw. At home, I pour myself a drink, then another. By the time she gets back, around 3 in the morning, I'm sitting in the dark living room, half drunk and completely numb. "You're awake," she says, dropping her purse on the table. "Couldn't sleep. Everything okay?" She sounds casual, normal, like she hasn't been holding hands with another man for the past 6 hours. "How were your cousins?" "Good. We went to karaoke again." The lie rolls off her tongue so easily. No hesitation, no guilt in her voice. "Fun night?" "Yeah. You should meet them sometime." Another lie. We both know she'll never introduce me to these fictional cousins. "Maybe," I say. She kisses the top of my head, tells me she's tired, goes to bed. I sit in the dark for another hour, finishing the bottle, trying to figure out why I don't feel angrier. Maybe because I knew. Part of me has known for weeks, maybe months. The late nights, the phone calls she takes in private, the way she looks through me sometimes like I'm not even there. Maybe because I don't want to know what happens if I confront her. Where would I go? What would I do? I have no friends here, no family, no life outside of her. So I go to bed and lie next to her, listening to her breathe, pretending I don't know what I know, pretending we're still a couple instead of whatever this is. In the morning, she makes me breakfast and asks about my plans for the day, acts like the loving girlfriend again, and I play along, because it's easier than facing the truth. We're both lying now. The only question is who'll break first. I wake up to silence. Not unusual anymore. Most mornings Annabelle's already gone, work, she says, or errands, or visiting family I've never met. But today feels different. The air feels different. Her closet is empty. Not just empty, cleaned out. All her clothes gone, her makeup, her shoes. The dresser drawers pulled out and left open, bare. The bathroom stripped of everything that was hers. The laptop is gone. The one she used for her business, with all those customer names on the whiteboard. The whiteboard itself has been wiped clean, just a blank white square now. I check the kitchen. Her phone charger, gone. The good coffee maker I bought her last month, gone. Even the throw pillows from the couch, the ones she picked out at the mall, gone. I sit on the stripped bed, trying to make sense of it. No note, no goodbye, no explanation. Just empty spaces where her life used to be. I call her number. Straight to voicemail, but not her voice anymore. Generic recording. The number you have dialed is no longer in service. I try her Facebook. Profile not found. Instagram, same thing. It's like she never existed. But she did exist, because my phone is gone too. The iPhone I bought for her birthday, the one she said she needed for better quality live streams. And my laptop, the backup one I barely used, and about $300 cash I kept in the nightstand drawer. I walk through the apartment again, slower this time, cataloging what's missing. The gold necklace I bought her for Christmas. The small speaker we used to play music while cooking. Even the bottle of expensive perfume I surprised her with last week. Anything of value, gone. Anything that was mine but in her possession, gone. I sink into the couch, the one piece of furniture that's still here because it came with the apartment. Try to figure out when she planned this. How long she's been preparing to disappear. The fights make sense now. The coldness, the distance. She wasn't pulling away because we had problems. She was preparing to leave. My phone buzzes. A message from a number I don't recognize. This is May, Annabelle's cousin. She asked me to tell you she's safe but won't be coming back. She said you were a sponsor, not a boyfriend. She's sorry if you misunderstood. A sponsor. Not a boyfriend. Not a partner. Not someone she loved. A sponsor. I read the message 3 times before it sinks in. Then I scroll up through our old conversations, looking for clues I missed. The late nights make sense now. The mysterious income from her business. The whiteboard with all those names and PayPal addresses. Robert, A, USA, 200. Hans, Germany, 150. Michael, Australia, 300. Leonard, USA, 1. 500 for surgery. Leonard, USA, 800 per month for rent. Leonard, USA, countless smaller amounts for groceries, clothes, dinner, gifts. I wasn't her boyfriend. I was a customer. A client. A mark. The apartment is quiet except for the air conditioner and traffic outside. I sit there for a long time, not crying, not angry, just empty. Hollow. At some point, I get up and make coffee with the cheap instant stuff that's all that's left. Sit at the kitchen table and stare out the window at the building across the street, trying to figure out what to do next. I have about $2,000 left in my account. No job, no friends, no reason to stay in this apartment that was never really mine anyway. But no reason to leave either. I move out of Annabelle's apartment the next week. Can't afford the rent on my own, and besides, everything there reminds me of her. The bed, where she used to trace patterns on my chest. The kitchen, where she cooked for me. The couch, where we watched movies and planned a future that was never real. I find a bed space in Quezon City. 800 pesos a month for a mattress, a small window, and a shared bathroom down the hall. It's about what I can afford now. My new neighbors are mostly OFWs, overseas Filipino workers who send money back to their families, construction workers, domestic helpers, seamen between contracts. They nod when they see me, occasionally ask where I'm from, but mostly leave me alone. At first I don't leave the room much. Order food through delivery apps, watch YouTube on my phone, sleep 12 hours a day. Feel sorry for myself, I guess. Nurse the wound. But after a month of that, even I get sick of my own company. There's a barangay school, about 10 minutes from where I live. Public elementary, maybe 200 kids. The building needs work. Peeling paint, broken windows, playground equipment held together with wire and prayer. I start walking past it on my way to the store. One day, I see teachers trying to move some heavy desks, struggling in the heat. I stop. Need a hand? The principal, Mrs. Santos, speaks good English. She's suspicious at first. What's this old American doing here? But when I explain I'm just living in the neighborhood, have some free time, she softens. We can always use help. Are you good with repairs? I spent 30 years keeping trucks running. I know my way around tools. I can fix things. So I start showing up a few hours a week. Fix the broken windows, patch holes in the walls, get the playground equipment stable again. The teachers bring me water, the kids wave when they see me coming. It's not much, but it's something. A reason to get up, shower, leave the room. Mrs. Santos introduces me to other foreigners in the area. Mostly retirees like me, guys who came here for various reasons and decided to stay. We meet for coffee sometimes, share stories about navigating life in the Philippines. None of them ask about Annabelle. Maybe they can tell it's a sore subject, or maybe they have their own stories they don't want to share. I don't date. Don't even think about it. Trust is like a broken bone. I know it heals, but never quite the same shape it was before. Instead, I focus on small things. Learning basic Tagalog, finding the best cheap restaurants, helping at the school, trying to build something resembling a life. It's not the life I planned when I bought that one-way ticket. It's smaller, quieter, lonelier than I expected. But it's mine, really mine, not dependent on someone else's whims or lies. Some mornings I wake up and forget for a second that she's gone. Reach for the space where she used to sleep, expect to smell her shampoo on the pillow. Then, reality settles in, and I remember. But the ache is duller now. Less sharp. Like a scar that's finally finished healing. I'm not bitter. Maybe I should be, but I'm not. Bitterness takes energy I don't have anymore. Instead, I'm just careful, watchful, older, in ways that have nothing to do with time. The Philippines isn't what I thought it would be when I came here chasing love, but it's home now, for better or worse, and maybe that's enough. I'm recording this in my small room in Quezon City, about 2 years after Annabelle disappeared. The rain is hitting the window, and I can hear my neighbors talking through the thin walls. Normal sounds of normal life. If you're watching this video, you probably think you know better than I did. You think you wouldn't fall for it. You think you'd see the signs, ask the right questions, protect yourself. I thought that too. I wasn't some desperate old fool who'd never been with a woman. I was married for 20 years. I'd been around. But loneliness makes you stupid. Hope makes you blind. Here's what I learned. If a woman needs your money to love you, she doesn't love you. Period. Doesn't matter what the emergency is, how urgent it sounds, how much she cries. Love doesn't come with a payment plan. The surgery was probably real. I'm not saying she faked cancer. But I was paying for it either way, me or the next guy or the guy before me. That's how it works. The cousins she went out with? They were real too. Real customers, real sponsors, real men sending her money from around the world. I wasn't her boyfriend. I was her pension plan. And that whiteboard with all the names and PayPal addresses? I should have trusted my gut the first time I saw it. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. I don't hate her. Surprised me too, but I don't. She was working, I was paying. Simple transaction. The love part was just good customer service. But I hate what it did to me. How small it made me feel. How I stayed even after I knew, because I was more afraid of being alone than of being used.